Welcome back to the Impact Mindset, folks. This is Jesse, your host. Hopefully, you guys are having a good day. So, recently, I've been noticing a lot of podcasters, man. They've been posting on different platforms about, the World Cup Classic, and you're getting a lot of different commentaries about teams and stuff like that. But I've also noticed that there's some people out there um, asking uh, Mexican American, Latinos, raza out there, asking them what team they're rooting for. Are they rooting for Mexico or are they rooting for America, the US? And I've also noticed that there's musicians out there too, and this has been going on for a while now. It's nothing new, but recently I've noticed that a musician posted that if you if you voted for Trump, to not listen to his music, and we know where that goes, right? So I got a question for everybody, all my listeners, right? People who listen to this podcast, right? You guys know that this podcast is for everybody, right? I'm transparent about my beliefs, right? But I also believe that this podcast is an open forum, and it's here for dialogue, right? It's important, right? I feel like open dialogue should supersede anything, right? Whatever happened to agree to disagree, and how did we go from that to agree with me or evaporate from my life? Because lately it feels like being accessible, being a normal human being who can talk, disagree, laugh, is no longer an option, folks. It's like everything is turning into a loyalty test, right? When I go to a ball game, I just want to see a ball game. When I go see an artist perform, I want to hear the music, right? Everything is a loyalty test. It's like who you vote for, who you root for, who you listen to, who you unfollow, who's breathing air next to you. I mean, it's getting ridiculous, right? I'm sure a lot of us would agree. I mean, it's like we're living in an era of pick my side or perish. And the wildest part about this is it's not the politicians doing this, right? It's not the government, it's not the media, it's just regular people who swear, right? They swear they hate politics, but they're out there politicking harder than Congress, right? It's just something that I've noticed. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Um, it's the same people that say, "Oh, I can't stand politics." And they're the ones that are turning baseball games, concerts, and brunch into like a UN council meeting, right? Musicians saying if you don't if you support Trump, don't come to my concerts, and podcasters asking if you're Mexican, Mexican American, who are you rooting for in the World Cup Classic, America or Mexico? Bro, you sound stupid, man. I'm just letting you know, bro. Like you come off as a big grifter, right? Anybody who's doing stuff like this, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, right? I mean, it's like, when did entertainment folks become a background check, right? Who remembers In Living Color, right? Everyone got bagged on, right? Everyone was free game, and we all got a laugh out of it. It seems like everybody just woke up one day and said, I'm insecure, and so now you have to pass my vibe test, you know? And if you don't, you're excommunicated from their church of personal preferences. I mean, whatever happened to complementary strengths, folks? Kindred spirits, right? And or two symbiotic lives, coming together, right? We're working together, right? Coexisting. It's like we used to celebrate differences, and And now people treat differences like malware. I mean, you disagree with someone's political choice, you're a villain. You root for a different team, you're a traitor. You don't match their emotional Wi-Fi. It's like you're blocked, deleted, and sent into the shadow realms, right? I don't know, man. It's just crazy watching people cut off friends, cut off family, coworkers. You know, it's and it's not because of harm. It's not because of disrespect, but because of insecurity, man. Dressed up as like some type of moral superiority. They're not protecting their peace, man. They're protecting their ego, right? That's exactly what it is. And see, here's the plot twist, right? The people doing the most gatekeeping, are the ones who feel the least secure about who they are. Confident people don't need loyalty tests. Confident people don't need you to agree with them. You know, Confident people don't need to politicize a baseball game or a concert ticket. Confident people can say, we're different, and that's fine. You know, hey, you don't agree with me? That's cool. Here's the thing, right? This I try to put a positive light on everything at the end, but I feel like there's still people out there who want connection, right? Who want connection over conformity, right? People who want conversations over cancellations. People who want community, right? And over like loyalty tests. You know, if you're one of those people, you're not outdated, you're not naive, and you're not too nice. You're like the blueprint, man, of how things should work. The world doesn't need more tribes, folks. It needs more humans. And I mean, if we can get back to that, to curiosity, to humor, shared strengths, symbiotic living, then maybe, just maybe, we can stop turning everything into a disagreement, and we can start turning, we can start turning this page, this dark page, right? It feels like everything doesn't need to be a civil war. We just need to have a conversation, folks. If you like my content, like, subscribe, and share. This is Jesse, and I'm out of here. Have a good night.